Chug, 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 chug. Happy St. Patty's Day. Look at that green drink that Brian's got. I had a green drink and it got drank. So, because we're mature, responsible adults now, we drink at home.
Trying to decide whether I want to kill this whole thing or save some of it for the show.
I think just save some for the show.
It's pretty
I
green,
got
people.
started a half hour early, so I'm doing good right now.
Well, like Ryan
But
said, everybody, happy St. Patrick's Day. Woo!
woo.
That was a pretty
Yeah,
weak celebration.
well, it's I can't remember the last time I really celebrated St. Patrick's Day by getting, really drunk like you're supposed to. Cause I guess that's how you do it.
Yeah, I
But
can remember. It was years before I had children.
yeah, essentially, pretty much.
Well, like Ryan said, everybody, happy St. Patrick's Day. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah,
Welcome to another
whatever.
episode of the Geek Dad Report.
That's the more important thing that was
Yeah,
going on.
it is. And on this St. Patty's Day special edition, the special Irish edition, we have all kinds of amazing things that we're going to talk about today. I mean, we have trailers. We're going to break down like that many
Yeah.
trailers, a whole bunch of them. Some of them are
One
even
of them
good.
it's a fat Dwayne Johnson.
Some
So,
of them are actually pretty bad too. But we're going to talk about that.
yeah.
We're going to talk about Batman v Superman because, hey, that shit opens like in a week.
Yep, and we're seeing it early.
We're seeing it early. We're going to talk about Daredevil. We're going to talk about Civil War. We're going to talk Star Wars because that's what we do on this fucking show. We're going to talk video games. We're going to talk, I don't know,
Vikings.
Vikings. We're going to
Com-
talk Comics You Crave, recommendations. We have questions from the Faithful 50, and we even have a amazing Geek Dad Real report just for you guys. Real review report. Same
Real
goddamn
review.
thing. But we have it all for you and more on this action-packed episode
47, 9,
of the
49.
Geek Dad Report.
Yeah. Oh, we them bad boys. Sip the cane. Yeah. C's. The anti-sab. 40 aces. Let's go.
That's right, everybody. Welcome to episode 49 of the Geek Dad Report. The the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created into talking about shit you want to know about and keeping your valuable time just that valuable. I'm Brian, and that's Ryan, and you have entered the fun zone.
Yes, the fun zone, where the fun never ends, and we do keep the doors locked at all times.
We do.
So,
Well, some of us live in bad parts of town, so we got to keep the damn door locked.
not me.
Not
I
you?
live in Mormontown, Brian.
Well, you know where you could live is Hell's Kitchen, and then you would have to
Yeah.
not only keep your door locked, but barred, a chair in front of the doorknob, maybe a attack dog in front of it.
Well, that's a great segue into our new sponsor for tonight, Brian.
Yeah, we got a new sponsor. We like to thank everybody who tried to go to www.georgerrmartinsandasshole.com and get their Westeros insurance plan, life insurance
Yeah.
plan. Unfortunately, everyone in Westeros has actually died, so they weren't selling anymore because everyone died. Spoiler alert, that's how George decided to end the series. Big
It
giant
wasn't-
meteor took out everybody. Who knew? Ryan knew. He called that shit years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So
This media.
I'm not going to say that we lost a sponsor. I'm just going to say that we've moved on to a better sponsor this week.
Yes.
But yeah, this
At
week,
least-
like Ryan said, we are actually being sponsored by Hell's Kitchen. Believe it or not, the actual city. Well, I guess not
Yes.
city. It's kind of the district area,
Well,
suburb.
Well, each city kind of has, they have their own little programs that they do for community outreach and
Yeah.
all those kind of things. And they came to us, personally because of, just how good we are at selling these kind of products.
And they know how well we do with the community. We have a great reach with the community. And Hell's Kitchen, they have a very important program that they want everybody to know about. And they felt that me and Ryan would be the best at relaying that information to everybody. And so the program that they want us to talk about today, our new sponsor is Hell's Kitchen's Grief Management Counseling. Hell's Kitchen, if you live in Hell's Kitchen, they know that at some point somebody you know is going to fucking die. It's pretty much
usually
a fact.
like in a bad way, like
Yeah.
explosion or gunshots,
Possible
multiple
ninja
shots.
death. I mean, you could get a ninja star from the hand right to your eye, and you will die immediately.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I mean,
we saw a guy. He got two ninja stars right to the eye, and then nunchucked across the head.
Yeah,
It was
and
a terrible tragedy.
That was just during our tour, like when they brought us to Hell's Kitchen to kind of introduce us to the programs so that we would have more familiarity with it.
Yeah,
And this was like literally right outside the door.
and we almost died immediately.
Yeah.
It was an awful experience, and we needed grief counseling because we watched a poor guy die right there on the street.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And so what Hell's Kitchen would like us to talk to you guys about today is they have, like I said, they have a new grief counseling session available for everyone. And they brought in the best grief management counselor they could find. His name is Frank Castle. He's a war vet. He's a decorated war vet. He's a family man. And he, like many people in Hell's Kitchen, has suffered an awful tragedy. His wife, it's so awful. I'm getting choked up. I can't even talk about it. His wife and child were killed by gangsters last season on Daredevil. A big, bald, angry man named Kingpin, his thugs killed Frank Castle's family. And Frank Castle knows about grief. And he has dedicated his life to making sure that everyone knows how to properly deal with that grief. Ryan, what is step one in the Frank Castle program?
Well, I believe step one that Frank taught us, because we all sat in a very bloody circle. The first step is anger.
Anger. Get angry, people. Hulk mad.
Yeah, like
I want to smash shit.
Like you get angry to the point where you will push aside almost anyone that isn't directly in your life.
Yeah.
And you will punch everyone else in the face.
Step two? I'll cover step two. Step two is buy a gun.
Yeah.
Whether you buy it from a gun person or buy it from a guy on the street, get a gun and lots of bullets.
Yes. And then step three, which is the third step in the three-step program.
This is the most, and you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
This is the most important step.
Yes, Frank was very insistent that people follow through three steps, like all the way. Like if you're gonna start this program, go all the way to the end.
And you can't stop at 1 and 2. You got to go. You got to follow it through. If you want to manage your grief, you have to follow the three steps.
Stay committed.
Stay committed. And what is the third step, Ryan?
The third step is the murder and execution of everyone who ever did you wrong.
Well, and Frank used a key word that is very easy to use to remember. It's called murder rampage, and
yes, that's right.
It's a murder rampage, and it's an easy process. Basically, you find every bad person that's ever wronged you, and you go on a murder rampage. I mean, it's pretty simple. Now, me and Ryan don't necessarily condone people to go on a murder rampage. This is all coming from Frank Castle's
grief counseling
grief management process. But step one, get mad. Step two, get a gun. Step three, murder rampage. And that is the three-step Frank Castle process.
Yes. And
grief management. So, if this sounds intriguing, like you said, Hell's Kitchen has set up an entire program just for you to go to and to listen to the wise words of the war veteran Frank Castle, and you too can manage your grief in a way that's, healing for you and for everyone around you. So So we like to thank Hell's Kitchen that they have entrusted us with this heavy burden and this very serious thing that must be dealt with. So
yes, I'm glad that we're a part in something that's making an impact in people's lives.
Yeah.
So
big impact.
Yes.
Hell's Kitchen.
Some people get multiple impacts from it. So
Oh, that was glorious. Anyway, moving on. Well, that was a great. I feel like that was a good segment from us. I feel like we did our advertisers proud this week, Ryan. I feel like
I
we're
think
moving in the right direction.
I'm willing to bet we might get 2 weeks out of the sponsor, Brian,
We could.
if we do.
Well, I know
So,
we're gonna get at least 13 episodes out of that sponsor.
yes, that's true.
All right, moving on. Geek Dad moments of the week. Ryan, did you have one?
Yeah, I got for some reason my kids decided last Friday that because my birthday was February 19th, which was also the day my wife had surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was 2 weeks of like her just recovering. We never really did anything for my birthday, which I don't care because I'm not really big on my birthdays. But for some reason, last Friday the kids decided to get all secretive, and they made like they got an envelope, and they drew me pictures and stuff like that, and my son Lincoln, who doesn't like to draw pictures because he always says his artwork is bad and stuff like that, and you tell him they look great and everything, but he draws better than I do, and I just do stick figures. But he drew a stick figure Darth Vader, and then a stick figure kind of like Luke Skywalker, and he said, and to the best dad ever, and then he said I was Darth Vader, and he was, the Luke Skywalker guy, and he had big lightsabers and stuff like that, and so that brought a big smile to my face when he made me that picture. So anything that I get from that, especially being at Star Wars related, because he's so pumped up for Force Awakens
To
come out on video.
So are my girls, man. It comes out 2 weeks, people. 2 weeks.
Yeah, she's like, that is my favorite one. Like, of all the Star Wars, my favorite one is Force Awakens.
You know what we should do, Ryan? This just hit me. That's why we're talking about it right now. We should do a Geek Dad real review of The Force Awakens with Lincoln and Addie after we watch the DVD.
I think that we could totally try and do that.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah. As long as the kids don't start,
We'd have to
doing
keep
dumb
it short.
Yeah, really short.
I think that'd be fun. That's awesome, man. That's cool.
So did you have a Geek Dad moment of the week?
Yeah, I got a couple. Well, the first one I want to talk about is kind of just a funny little story. So as you know, I took my daughter to go see Zootopia a few weeks ago, and she got her first taste of what it's like to be able to see a movie before everybody else. And she's now officially hitting me up for every time any new movie comes out. She wants to know why she can't go with me.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads me to my first story, is that she was very angry that I was not taking her to go see Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice on Tuesday.
Is she more or less angry than Deadpool?
She's more angry than Deadpool, I think partially because, Deadpool she doesn't really know that well as a character. I mean, she's seen him a little bit on the cartoon and she's aware of Deadpool, but she knows very much who Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman is. And she loves Wonder Woman. It is one of her favorite characters. So the fact that I'm not taking her to go see Wonder Woman next week, she's not happy. So
Your father.
yeah, there was that, and she was mad about that. And I'm like, I wish I could take you. And she's like, well, why can't you take me? I said, because I can't take you to this one. She goes, is it because of your boss? And I'm like, well, no, but I have to take somebody else with me. And she's like, that's just unacceptable. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And so we had that conversation on like Saturday or Sunday. So then it was funny. So yesterday she hops in, I pick her up from daycare. She gets in my truck and she's like, Daddy. I go, what? She goes, guess what comes out next Friday? And I'm like, what? She goes, Batman versus Superman. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I was like, pretty cool, huh? And she goes, yeah. She goes, what time are we going? I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, next Friday, what time are we going? I said, well, we're not going. And she's like, what do you mean we're not going? Aren't you going to get off work early and come pick me up and take me? And I'm like, no.
I guess.
Well, one of my friends, he's got a daughter same age as Addison, and we usually take the two girls and we go, to see these comic book movies because they're both big fans of them. But we usually wait a couple weeks because, well, the kids are still young and they don't like to wait in the lines, and and get there an hour early and sit and wait. And Batman v Superman's already 2.5 hours long, so I mean,
Yeah,
to
that's
get there
a long
early, it's a 3.5 hour affair to get there early and then wait for the movie. And you know, at 6, my daughter's not quite old enough to sit through all that, so we usually wait, 2-3 weeks after it comes out to go take him to go see it. But yeah, she apparently wanted to go opening night, so so we had this long conversation. So I said, well, she goes, well, when are you gonna take me? I was like, probably April. She's like, April? That's like a year away. I'm like, no, it's like a month away, but
I love how you can tell a kid, like something that's only like days, weeks at the most away, and they act like you're telling them that at 5 years old they can't do something. You can't have a real beer until you're 21 years old, and you're 8 right now.
Kids,
they act like it's like you're making them wait a half of their lifespan for something, even though it's going to be like, if you wait 2 fucking days and shut your mouth, you'll get to do what you want to do.
Oh, I know, dude. Kids' like ability to judge time is terrible. Yeah. But so, I'm gonna take her. She's not real thrilled that she's got to wait, but I definitely think I've created a monster. So it's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm pretty excited that I've created a buddy, a comic book movie buddy, but it's that tough age where she's still got probably a good solid year before I can start taking her to opening night. But my other little, I guess that was a pretty good, decent Geek Dad story of the moment of the week. But I had another one I want to talk about for a second. So we showed my daughter Willow for the first time this last weekend. And it's kind of funny. Chris, a friend of the show and host of Utah Outcast, our sister station on Pod Hell, he actually showed his daughters Willow for the first time this weekend. We were talking about it on Facebook. She was asking about it, and we were like, yeah, I think it's about time. So we put on Willow, and it was great. It was amazing. She loved it. It was so much fun. It was great because it was almost like watching it for the first time when I was, I think, 9 when it first came out, or 10. And it was fun. We had a long conversation about little people. She couldn't get over the fact that little people had short little fingers, and she kept talking about them. But she loved the brownies. She loved the magic. She just loved Willow. So there's not a lot to the story other than if you are watching this show and your kids have not seen Willow, show them Willow. It is a perfect movie for children.
Yeah. But here's the catch. So you and Chris are talking about Willow. I'm like, you know what? I want to get myself a copy of it. Look on Amazon. It's $45 freaking dollars for a DVD of Willow.
Wow.
$45.
So I got Willow I don't have it on Blu-ray, but I got it on DVD. So it came out on DVD about 10 years ago. Was the first time they released it on DVD, and then I pre-ordered it. I spent like $30. I got it at one of those stupid stores at the mall when they used to sell DVDs. Those was like Suncoast or something.
Yeah.
And I've had it ever since. I'm looking right now. Let's see what we got here. Willow.
They're expensive. Like $50 for like the Blu-ray.
Jesus, you're not kidding.
I'm not.
Willow.
Yeah, and they're sold out everywhere.
Used $42.
Yeah. So you literally have one of the few DVDs, Brian.
Yes.
That's actually accrued value since you purchased it for $30-something.
It's because I'm a boss.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you could sell your Willow DVD for $12 profit.
God, you know what? I want to know. I wonder if Disney got Willow, or if Willow's still owned by Lucas.
I don't know.
That's interesting. I want to know when Willow 2's coming out. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, Willow 2.
Mad Mardigan's like this giant. They had to wheel him around in a cart. He's like, "Rrr."
He fucking eating all the brownies because he thought they were like tasty. Oh, I love
brownies.
Oh,
Poor Val Kilmer.
my brownies.
Oh man. Well, anyway, well, that's my Geek Dad's moment of the week. If you have Willow, or one of the fortunate people like me that have a copy of Willow, show your kids. If not, I guess you're shit out of luck. I don't want to tell you.
Yeah, unless you gotta pay $50.
Watch Lord of the Rings. It's not as good, but it's got little people ish. That movie's kind of fucked up. They didn't even use real little people. Messed up. Did you ever see a little side note here before we move on to Ninja News? Did you ever see? I want to say it was HBO or somebody did a show where Warwick. The whole premise of the show was it was like a somebody falling. It was like a reality. It was supposed to be like a reality show where someone with a camera is following around Warwick Davis, who played Willow in the movie. He was trying to get Willow 2 made.
No, I never saw that.
So it's like a mockumentary. So it's a fake show, but it's set up like it's a real show, him trying to get this done. And so it's pretty funny. Like, the first episode, he gets all these reporters and everybody in the room to announce that they're going to do Willow 2. And so he's like, we're going to do Willow 2. And everyone's like, there's all these reporters and they're like, they have questions. He's like, all right, first question. Someone's like, is Ron Howard going to direct? And he's like, no. And they're like, is Val Kilmer going to be in it? And he's like, we're in talks, and then literally everybody gets up and leaves. It's all funny. Anyway,
I'll have to look that up.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the show is. If any of you guys have seen the show and can remember what the name is, let us know. But it was pretty funny. I was dying. All right, we have rambled for 20 minutes, so I guess we should probably start the show.
When was the last time?
Oh, you're cutting out. I'm gonna do ninja moves while you're cutting out. Ryan.
News.
All right. Well, while Ryan's having some technical difficulties, we're just going to jump into Ninja News, everybody. It is Ninja News time. Uppercut. Bam. Judo chop of truth. One day we'll get an actual... One day we'll get some actual music for that segment. Oh, Ryan's back. Ryan!
I'm back? I don't know.
Well, you're kind of back.
I'm poking. It's actually saying that I'm receiving video really badly.
Yeah, they keep saying it's me, but I'm hardwired. I don't know. Whatever, people. Comcast. Damn cable internet. But we will work through it until we are perfect. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's what she said. Ooh, yeah. So, Ninja News time. First thing up, as always, Star Wars news, everybody. Why Star Wars news? Because it gives me a chance to play. Just hit myself in the face with my own lightsaber. That's gonna leave a mark.
If you did hit yourself in the face with a lightsaber, I don't think you had much of a face left anymore.
That's true. That just happened.
That's why That's why I was surprised that in the first 3 Star Wars movies that there weren't more like disfigured Jedi.
Yeah, there should be.
Because think logically, it takes one fuck up to lose a limb. So
yeah, one mess up and you're gone. You know what? I haven't messed with this lightsaber for a while, so we're gonna bust out the Kylo Ren. There we go. But like Ryan was teasing Star Wars, you weren't really teasing it. We were just talking about it. But anyway, I had to dig long and hard. Yeah. To find some Star Wars news. That news cycle for Star Wars is starting to dry up a little bit. Oof. Long, hard, and dried up. Anyway, but I did find something. So the first bit of Star Wars news we have for you guys is the list of actors to play Han Solo has officially been narrowed down to 3. A couple months ago, we reported that Disney had auditioned over 1,000 actors to play Han Solo in the upcoming young Han Solo movie. But they have officially narrowed it down to 3 actors. The first one is Jack Rayner, who's best known for Transformers Age of Extinction. He played Mark Wahlberg's daughter's boyfriend, the rally car driver. Whatever.
Nice.
He was all right. The next, a little more well-known, his name's Taron Egerton. He's the main star in Kingsman and Eddie the Eagle. Pretty good actor. I'm a fan. And the third actor is Alden... I can't say his name. Ehrenreich. He played most recently in Hail Caesar, but I know him from some young adult stupid movie about witches. I don't remember what the name of that movie was, but hey. Really? I'm just going to go with Taron Egerton. I think he's going to be the best fit for Han Solo.
I like him.
Yeah, he was great in the Kingsman, and I heard Eddie the Eagle was amazing, but that is who my money is on. That's who I'm rooting for. So, anyway, those are your 3 guys. Sorry I butchered Alden's name, but if you want to know more, just Google young Han Solo actors, and you will find the article, and you can see them all in the things. Or if you saw Hail Caesar, which nobody did, considering it made no money whatsoever. But it was a good movie. whatever.
from what I heard.
Yeah. The last little bit of Star Wars news we had. This one's digging deep. I just had to find another story to talk about. Basically, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, as me and Ryan talked about earlier, is coming to DVD real soon. But a lot of the extras are starting to leak their way onto the interweb. And one of the cool things is they're releasing a lot of the concept art from The Force Awakens. So you can find them online right now. They're pretty cool. It basically shows what the original ideas for Han Solo, what he would look like, and Rey and all the different characters, some of the planets. Jakku was vastly different originally in the original storyboards and concept art. So it's kind of cool to see how it's if you're a fan of movie making process, it's a cool look at the concept art because you see what the movie kind of started out, the ideas, and then what it was eventually turned into. So you can see where Episode 7 was originally not quite as closely following Star Wars New Hope, where like Jakku wasn't originally a desert planet. It was more of it had water and a bunch of different things. So you can see where the director decided to go different directions than the original concept of the original idea from the movie. But anyway, if you want to see those, some of them are up online. But it's pretty cool. I'm sure me and Ryan will be watching all the extras when The Force Awakens comes out, and we will talk about them at length.
I actually never watched the extra stuff. I don't
Really?
know why.
Not even for movies like Star Wars?
No, I don't. I'll watch the movie and then that's pretty much it.
All right. Well,
Do
I
you
will
ever
be watching the
do,
DVD
like,
extras, and I'm sure I'll be talking about them
commentate?
a lot. The next bit of big Disney news that's not really Star Wars news, but hell, I don't give a crap, is Indiana Jones 5 is happening, people. Dr. Jones is coming back. Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg are going to return for another adventure. So, no word on if Mutt Jones, Shia LaBeouf is going to come back, but we do know that Harrison and Steven are coming back, so I'm excited.
That's all we need.
What?
That's all we need.
Yeah, it is all we need. I know the last movie, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, was not as well received as some of the other Indiana Jones movies, and there were definite problems with it. I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people did not enjoy it as much. The ending made absolutely no sense. I don't think Ryan's even seen it yet, which you should watch it. It's worth watching. But I am very excited for Indiana Jones. So that is going to be happening. It's going to be coming out in July of 2019, so we still have a few years away. When it's released, Harrison Ford will be 77. So I'm hopeful that they come up with a script where they can kind of age him a little bit gracefully and he's still not swinging on bullwhips, punching Nazis in the face. But, hey, whatever.
At least one Nazi needs to get punched in the face.
Well, I don't care if we have a few Nazis. We just can't have him running through punching everybody in the face. You know what?
Yeah.
I think the best... Here's what I think. If anybody wants to know my opinion on the matter, and since I'm talking right now, you guys will have to listen to my opinion on the matter. I think they need to recast Shayla... God. Can't even say his name. Shia LaBeouf. But I think they should recast him as... Find somebody else to be Mutt Jones. You've created Indiana Jones' son as, story continuum, or continuity. So recast him... Have him be whoever, and have him kind of start taking over the lead, and you can turn Indiana Jones into more of a Sean Connery type role going forward if you want to have more Indiana Jones movies. So that's what I think.
We can bring Chris Pratt in for Indiana Jones.
I would love that, but I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't think you can recast Indiana Jones unless the only other thing I can see.
I was as his son.
Well, Shia LaBeouf, what is it? Why can't I? What is it? What's his name? I keep thinking Shia LaBeouf. Was it
Shia LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf, thank you. God almighty. No, I like Shia LaBeouf, but clearly he's on a weird path right now, so I doubt he's coming back for the next Indiana Jones. So one option would be to cast, like I said, recast, say, like a Chris Pratt or some young, upcoming guy to be Indiana Jones' son who can kind of take over the series if you want to. Because they've said they're never going to recast Indiana Jones, that Harrison Ford is the only Indiana Jones. But what you could do is, like I said, you could recast Shia LaBeouf character and go forward that way. Or the other thing you could see happening is you could see a kind of a Last Crusade type deal where you do some flashbacks to a younger Indiana Jones, and then you could cast a younger actor to play that young Indiana Jones, and then the next movies you could maybe go from that point forward and tell some of the story before maybe Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever. So that's a couple ways that if Disney wants to successfully reboot the franchise. I mean, we all love Harrison Ford. I'm really excited that he's going to be in the next Indiana Jones, but you can only make so many Indiana Jones. He is going to be 77.
So, yeah, and if Disney wants to take Brian's idea, he does accept checks or money.
Checks or official sponsorships for our show. You don't have to pay me directly. Just bring me and Ryan on in some capacity. I don't really care how.
Yeah. We'll be on the Disney Channel.
We'll be on the Disney.
We
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah. I will not even swear. If you guys are paying us, me and Ryan will be straight PG rated.
Yeah.
But since you're not paying us, fucking hey, let's do this. But anyway, like I said, that's happening in 2019. There's no details about the movie other than that Spielberg and Harrison Ford are coming back. So, like I said, I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, so I don't care in what capacity. I'm glad we're going to get a part 5. Another movie I'm very glad is coming out is Captain America Civil War. And apparently it could have not 1, not 2, but 3 post-credit scenes.
That's a lot of post-credit scenes.
Which I think is actually the most ever for a Marvel movie or any movie.
Yeah, they've done 2, but...
Yeah, who knows? I don't know what they're about. My guess is probably Doctor Strange and Infinity Wars, and they'll set up... There's definitely going to be an Infinity War set up in there. But my guess is probably they'll probably set up Doctor Strange, the standalone Spider-Man movie, Thor Ragnarok, and Infinity War. I'm calling all 4 are going to be set up in those 3 scenes. And maybe one more shawarma scene.
That's a lot of setup.
A lot of setup. Another cool thing that's coming out of this Civil War movie is Black Widow is finally going to be getting a shit ton of toys. A lot of us who have daughters, like me and Ryan, and a lot of people in America, noticed that when Age of Ultron came out, you could not find a Black Widow toy, and that was unacceptable. We all complained, we all yelled and shook our fist at Disney and Marvel, and they have listened and do not want to get their people shaking their fists at them again. So this time around, Black Widow is going to be front and center and a huge part of their toy campaign. So guess what? You can now buy cool Black Widow toys. And probably Scarlet Witch, I'm guessing.
Well, and they're just, and we were at Toys R Us the other day, and I saw there's a shitload of Raid stuff now, too. So.
Oh, really?
Took a little while, but, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out now, so.
Yeah, the only one I've seen is I've seen the one that I have, the Ray, I think it's Black Series toy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still waiting to find just a regular action figure. I think it was like $25, so I'm looking for a regular one to get my daughter. I finally found it at the store. Look at my new purchase. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
DC has not missed the opportunity to market Wonder Woman. There's been a ton of them. In fact, they've been so popular, sold out everywhere, but there's a bunch of cool Wonder Woman action figures. So if you're excited for the movie, everybody, look, buy your kids. My daughter's very mad because this one's mine, and she wants it, and I told her no.
You don't touch that toys.
She doesn't want to fit back up there. So I might have to buy her one. Yeah. So let's see here. Moving on. What do we got next? Deadpool, everyone's favorite X-Men, is destroying the box office. We all knew this, but he is just continuing racking up dollars. He has finally crossed $700 million. He only has $100 million more to go before Ryan Reynolds gets paid.
Yeah, I think he gets he got $2 million to make the movie.
Well, I think he has an escalator clause in his contract that once it hits $800 million, he gets a percentage of the box office.
Yeah, he gets like $20 million or something like that. And
I don't think it matters. I'm pretty sure Deadpool 2, he's cashing in. Considering Deadpool, okay, listen, people. Deadpool is the highest grossing X-Men movie of all time, domestically. Mm-hmm. It's made more money than Iron Man did. It's made more money than Man of Steel. And this weekend it's gonna beat Guardians of the Galaxy domestically. So there is a legitimate shot that it could get to the 1 billion mark, which is insane.
If it opens up in China for some reason, it'll easily get pushed up there.
And that's the crazy part. This is without the Chinese market. The Chinese market is the second biggest market in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the third highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. I forget what the second one is, but it has a chance of beating the second. I think the Matrix or the Matrix 2 is one. I think it was one of the Matrixes. Is
Reload.
The Matrix Reloaded. That's the second highest grossing. Now it probably will not beat The Passion of the Christ, which was $370 million. So I doubt it'll beat that one. It could possibly cross 340 million. I think it's at right now about 320. So that's probably a stretch for it, but still, I mean, it's insane considering how much it is crazy. This movie cost $58 million, and people did not expect it to do well. We expect it to do well.
It's been out for a month, and it's still like in like the top 5,
top 3.
Yeah, so
yeah. It's only behind Zootopia and what was last weekend, 10 Cloverfield Lane, which we're going to talk about later. But yeah, so obviously Deadpool is kicking everyone's ass. So if you have not seen Deadpool, what the shit are you waiting for? Go see Deadpool. It's amazing.
Watch our review and then go see Deadpool.
Yeah, watch our review. It's awesome, like the movie. Let's see. We got a few things we'll blow through the next couple Ninja News segment here. We got Patrick Warburton and Neil Patrick Harris have been cast to star in Netflix's upcoming Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events. So they're going to make a series based on the novels. There was a Jim Carrey movie that I actually enjoyed that came out a few years ago. But basically it follows some children who get raised, whose parents die and get raised by their crazy Uncle Olaf, who's evil and tries to kill them and take their fortune. So it's kind of a dark children's series. But
sounds like it.
Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris has been cast as Uncle Olaf, and Patrick Warburton is Lemony Snicket, who tells the story of these children. So I believe that's coming out later this year on Netflix. So I'm sure we'll watch it and give everyone a review of it when it comes out. But looks like it's got some good people starring in the roles. Robert Kirkman, who created The Walking Dead, which is amazing right now, and you people should be watching it. And me and Ryan are going to definitely do a Walking Dead season finale, and probably next week or the week after we're going to have a whole segment on who's going to die. But anyway.
Yes. Especially that last episode with Carol and Maggie.
God. You know what? Sidebar real quick. If you were not watching Walking Dead or you gave up on it, get back into the show. It is so good right now, I can't even talk about it.
Start with the season.
Yes, just skip last season. Start with this one. You'll be fine. Me and Ryan will fill you in. If you don't know what's going on, hit us up in Faithful 50 and we will tell you. Anyway, Robert Kirkman was rumored to be part of the Transformers writing room. Apparently they brought in like 20 different writers and they had this huge brain trust to figure out the franchise. Well, apparently he was only there for a day and he's no longer part of the writing room. So his involvement was heavily exaggerated.
Probably because it sucks.
Well, he said there's some good things coming out of it, but then again, I doubt anybody who's trying to get into a lot of different movies is going to be like, this shit's going to be crap. Don't watch it.
It's going to suck balls.
Yeah. So.
Because when you say a whole bunch of negative things about movies all the time, that's really a good way to get a job somewhere else. So.
Yeah, well, I don't predict Fox is going to hire us anytime soon.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only reason why we mentioned that is because I think a while ago we were talking about how Transformers could be pretty good because Robert Kirkman's part of it. Well, we wanted to make sure that we told everybody that he is not really that much of a part of it. Yeah. So when Transformers sucks, do not be like, you know what, Brian and Ryan on the Geek Dad Report said this shit was going to be awesome, and it wasn't. Fuckers.
You disappoint me.
Yeah. Well, if you're disappointed, it's not fucking our fault. Gotham, another show that's disappointing. Has been renewed for
season 3. Why is the show getting renewed for a third season, Brian?
God, you know what? Who watches Gotham? Everybody knows, like, that's just stupid.
None of my nerd friends do.
Chris does.
He does?
Yeah, he keeps telling me we should watch it, but I just can't. I watched the first season. It was awful. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But whatever. You know what show's not terrible, Ryan? Vikings.
Vikings, which is an awesome, awesome show.
Yeah.
And the first, 3 seasons have been, they're like 8 episodes a season, so you kind of get to watch it, and you go through it really fast, and there's just so much going on, but not anymore.
There's going to be a lot more going on, because I didn't even know this, you didn't know this, we talked about this before we started recording, but apparently season 4 is actually going to be, which is the season that's going right now, is a 20-episode season, and apparently History Channel liked that so much that they renewed it for season 5 for another 20 episodes.
As long as Rolo dies soon, I'll be happy.
Fucking Rolo.
That
Rolo.
traitor bastard.
Norwegian for traitor. That dick.
Yeah.
But can you really blame him? He's got that little haughty French princess he's just kind of making the whoopee with all the time.
He just had to learn French, and all of a sudden he's starting to get laid
He learned
now,
French
so.
all right.
Yeah.
He learned French all over the place. It's great.
Yeah. Especially on Christmas.
And if you're not watching Vikings, just question your life and start watching it.
Yes. Matt started watching it from Watch Play Read, and
Yeah.
he's just totally sold on it. So
Totally sold. He's about to watch the Blood Eagle episode.
He was on the Blood Eagle episode, so.
Amazing. You know what else is amazing? The CW has renewed their entire lineup for next year.
Yes. I could have done without Arrow, but.
Oh, come on. Arrow's like their second highest rated show. It was not getting canceled. But anyway, yeah. So Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, iZombie, Supernatural, which is going to be going into its 12th season, which is crazy. I love that show, but 12 seasons? Wow.
I feel bad. I never got into Supernatural.
It's too bad. You know what? There was a few seasons that didn't work as well, but it's hitting on all cylinders right now. It's a great show. But yeah, they renewed everything. The only shows that haven't been renewed are so they had a couple of mid-season type shows that kind of fill the gaps when a lot of the shows are on break. There's a few of those that haven't been renewed yet, but all their mainstay shows have all been renewed. So if you're a CW fan of any of their shows, your shows are coming back next year. So, yay! Congratulations. Luke Cage is coming out this year on Netflix. We all knew it was coming out, but we did not know when. Most people anticipated it to be 2017, but apparently the main actor, I forget his name, but who plays Luke Cage, just dropped out of nowhere. Yeah, my show's coming out September 30th of this year.
And I'm excited.
Netflix has not confirmed it, but yes, it is coming out September 30th this year. Also rumored, apparently Luke Cage. Apparently, Iron Fist is going to debut in the Luke Cage series, which actually makes a lot of sense if you've ever read the comics. And funny enough, Netflix has finally officially confirmed that Finn Jones from Game of Thrones is going to be Danny Rand in the Iron Fist series. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. It was long rumored. Everybody said, hey, this is happening, but Netflix didn't say anything. But they finally came out and said, yeah, he's our guy. Pretty much it. Me and Ryan think it's a great cast. A lot of people are very angry that he's not Asian. I personally don't. I think he's fine.
Well, he wasn't Asian in the comics, though, right?
No, he was not Asian in the comics. I think a lot of people. So Iron Fist and Luke Cage came out of Marvel in an era where they were definitely taking advantage of the kung fu in America type obsession, and Luke Cage came from the blaxploitation films, and so I think a lot of people really felt like Danny Rand should have been a character originally. Like if he would have been created nowadays, he would have been created as an Asian character. And I understand that criticism, but I don't think of all the things. There's so many situations where Hollywood has miscast people. I don't think this is one of them. So I personally like the cast. I think it's going to be fine. I'm excited for Luke. I'm excited for Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I can't wait to see what they do on TV.
I still haven't finished Jessica Jones, but he's like one of my favorite parts of it. So
yeah. Oh, Luke Cage? Yeah, Jessica Jones was not one of our favorite series. We didn't like it nearly as much as Daredevil, but yeah, Luke Cage was the best part of that series in my opinion. So I'm really excited for his standalone show. Something else that I know you and I are very excited for is the Batman: The Killing Joke animated movie that's coming out this July. Well, it's coming to Comic-Con in this July. I don't know when it's going to be coming out on DVD, but Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy were long rumored to be reprising their roles as Batman and Joker. The original best, in my opinion, animated versions of Batman and Joker, well, they have officially been confirmed. Mark Hamill came out and said, yep, we are in it, so we are very, very excited for this.
Yeah, his Joker voice is very iconic.
In my opinion, Mark Hamill is the Joker, but hey, that's neither here nor there. AMC is doing some awesome things. And one of the things they're doing that's going to be awesome is going to be the new Preacher series. We talked about it last week. I don't think we said when it was officially going to air. They're starting to do a lot of promotional stuff, so we're going to start seeing a lot of posters and little trailers and stuff, and we'll be throwing them all over our Facebook and Twitter accounts. But they've officially said that it is going to air May 22nd, I believe, the week after the Fear the Walking Dead season 2 ends. So.
Yeah, I think they did like a first episode screening at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, and it got a lot of people excited. So
yeah, well, it's Seth Rogen and I forget his producing partner, but they're doing it, which seems like an odd kind of duo to be making this movie. Anybody's read the Preacher series? It's not really a funny series. It's a very I don't know, supernaturally dark series, but I'm really
dark.
excited for it. I love the comic. I'm anxious to see what AMC is going to do with it. So, but I'm sure me and Ryan will bring you guys full coverage of it if you do not watch it with us, but we will definitely be watching it. You know, Ryan, maybe you should send AMC an email and see if we can get a screener of the pilot.
I'll get right on that.
Hey, with our big names, we should have no problem securing that, so I'm expecting that.
Many resources that we can tap into.
Another thing I'm expecting you to get me passes for is Universal Studios is adding a Walking Dead themed ride / kind of haunted house that will open this summer. So,
is it like going to eat people and stuff?
Well, me and my wife went to every year Universal Studios around Halloween has their Halloween haunted nights where basically they open up a lot of haunted houses and you can ride all the rides, and they have these separate ones. So they have a Walking Dead one where you walk through the prison and they have these zombies trying to get you and stuff. They also have a pretty cool ride. Well, it's not a ride, but it's an experience where you go through the sets and they have all these zombies and stuff. It's pretty cool. So it sounds like it's going to be kind of that, but they're going to have a permanent ride that's year round that you can. It's not something that you're going to get into and ride as much as that you're going to walk through it. So I guess that's why I said ride / haunted house. It's more of a haunted house type thing than a ride, but it's going to be a year round attraction. So
yeah,
if you like zombies and you want to be scared. Like I said, I did the Universal Halloween horror series, and it was a lot of fun, so I expect it to be awesome. So when Ryan gets us passes, we will let you guys know exactly how cool it is.
And how much I screamed and cried.
No pressure. Yeah, you will cry. If we go, I'm going to put like a GoPro and just watch you just shed tears.
Oh, that's what'll happen because I'm a big wimp, so.
It's all right. I'll hold you, Ryan. You can hold on to me.
Yes.
I'm big and strong, and I scare easily, so I may run really fast. So I might have to put you on like a pack like Yoda and carry you around.
No, just get me like one of those like harness things that people put on their children.
Put you on the front?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Let's see. Another thing I guess that's a terrible transition. Star Trek Beyond, the new Star Trek movie that's coming out. May be in some trouble or may not. All we know is that next week they're going to schedule a whole shit ton of reshoots. And they're, in fact, adding in a completely new character to the movie.
That is not good.
That sounds really bad.
Yeah, especially after that trailer.
Yeah, when you have a couple weeks of reshoots
bad,
and you're adding an entirely new character, I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope it's good.
Happened.
You know, I love the first one, and even the second one, I know a lot of people destroyed it, but it wasn't a bad movie. It just was not as good as the first one. So I don't know. We'll see. This is the first one that doesn't have J.J. Abrams at the helm. I don't know. Hopefully it'll be good. A movie that I'm sure will be good is Kingsman 2, and it seems like they're going to be adding Halle Berry in a key role as a CIA operative.
I don't like her.
I don't like her either, but I don't care. I like the Kingsman.
Yeah. I just don't like her as an actress. She sucks.
What?
Sucks
Catwoman?
balls.
You tell me Catwoman's not a great movie? I've never even seen it, but I'm sure it's awesome.
I'm pretty sure that movie sucks. Just as much as her getting fucked by Billy Bob gets her an Oscar, so.
Oh, you know, I remember how big of a deal it was when, what movie was Swordfish, when she showed her boobs, right?
Yeah.
And it was so, because, like, all we heard about, I remember when Swordfish came out with Hugh Jackman. It was an alright movie, but everyone was like, guys, Halle Berry got paid $1 million to show her boobs, right? So you're watching this movie and you're like, alright. You know she's going to show her boobs at some point. It was the most, like... Have you seen Swordfish?
Yeah. She's like reading a book or something like that.
here's my boobs moment. So like most movies, a lot of times when they show boobs, it's it's like a sex scene or it's a shower scene or something that feels like organic to the movie. Holly Berry's like out suntanning. She drops this thing and her boobs are. It was so pointless to the movie. It was literally like, hey, Holly Berry, if we give you $1 million for you to show your boobs, and she said, yeah, and they're like, yes, and they wrote it into the script. Scene 7, Holly Berry shows boobs. Scene 8, it was.
And then a couple years later, she fucks Billy Bob on screen, and she gets an Oscar for it.
I'll never forget Charles Barkley. They were asking Charles Barkley about the Oscars on some show. And, Charles Barkley says whatever's on his mind. He goes, they go, who do you think should win the Oscar? He's like, man, I think Holly Berry should win an Oscar for having to have sex with that ugly-ass Billy Bob Thornton. It's like, oh, Charles Barkley, you kill me. I love Charles Barkley.
Charles.
So anyway, but, that actress will be in Kingsman 2. She may also be in Kingsman 3 because apparently it's going to be a trilogy, which I'm totally cool with.
Yeah.
The Kingsman was a great movie. If you've not seen Kingsman, it is definitely one of Fox's best comic movies.
And with all the explosion heads.
Oh, yeah, that was so great. Don't ruin it. We're not going to spoil it. Go watch Kingsman.
I know. That's why I was...
Another movie that you should definitely watch when it comes out is Justice League.
Yeah.
I was going to watch that. Well, the screenwriters recently come out and said the Justice League is actually going to be one giant story. So if you've seen Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, which is coming out next week. Yeah, next week. I was right. Coming out next week. Apparently,
next Tuesday for us. Next Friday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Oh, I'm so excited. We got some Batman v Superman news. We're going to talk about it. So I'll explode with excitement in a minute.
I'm still trying to find a date, so.
Yeah. No, the Matt was going with you.
No, he wants to go to some, like, his favorite band playing or some shit, so.
Yeah. Tell him his favorite band is You're Fired if you don't go with me, the band. Yeah. If you're listening, Matt, fuck around.
Yeah.
It's Batman v Superman. But anyway, apparently this is going to be one big story arc, so if you've wondered how it's all going to tie in, or if you've wondered if Warner Brothers has a grand scheme, they do. Their movies are all going to tie together. It may not quite be Marvel, but it's going to all work. And to that note, apparently Warner Brothers has also decided that they're not going to do a bunch of origin stories. So Aquaman and Flash, which is rumored to be in Batman v Superman and definitely in Justice League, their standalone movies are coming out after Justice League Part 1. And apparently their stories are going to come from Justice League. So they're going to go right from that movie into their own stories, which I'm pretty excited about. Kind of tired of origins.
You don't really need to know their origin stories. I mean, you pretty much know it already. So.
Well, The Flash is one of the most watched shows on television, so everyone knows how The Flash became The Flash. And Aquaman, I mean, even if you don't know, you could cover both their origin stories with the 5-minute flashback. I mean, you don't need a Spider-Man-style origin, honestly.
Yeah, Aquaman he grows up on land. He can swim in the water, and he's figured out how to fucking swim and talk to fish.
Yeah. His mama was the queen of Atlantis, and she had a love affair with a human, and Aquaman was born. There you go. Yeah, boom.
The end.
Pretty simple. Flash, struck by lightning that also hit these chemicals and made him the fastest man alive because he can access the Speed Force. Hey, there you go. Perfect. Now you're caught up.
Yeah.
So, as a fan of Warner Brothers, well, as a fan of DC properties, I'm glad they're not going to waste any time with origins and just going to run into some stories, so... I'm pretty excited to see what Warner Bros. Is going to do with all their DC characters.
It'll be fun.
Let's see. Apparently, a lot of people are going to be excited for what Warner Bros. Is doing with their DC characters because Batman v Superman is having massive ticket pre-sales. So all the Marvel fans who are like, "This movie's going to bomb," yeah, shut up because it's not. In fact, Batman v Superman, Fandango is reporting that they are having the highest ticket pre-sales they've ever had next to The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think anything's going to beat The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens was like the third highest movie of 2015 before it even hit theaters.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, yeah, considering it made $1 billion here in America, not really a shock. But Batman v Superman is going to be big. Warner Brothers is projecting $140 million opening weekend. I'm going to say it's going to be closer to 160. It's going to be a big movie, and everyone's going to like it. There's going to be people who hate it, but it's going to be well received. It's going to make $1 billion, so whatever. Another thing that's going to make a ton of money is the Batman v Superman rated R director's cut, which a lot of us are really excited for. And so we talked about it last week a little bit, that the rumor was that it was going to get the Watchmen treatment, which was a little over 3 hours. And in fact, Zack Snyder told Hollywood Reporter this week that it is in fact going to be over 3 hours long. So it's been long rumored that the initial cut that a lot of Warner Brothers executives saw was the 3 hour supercut, and that they all loved it. So, but they had to cut it down for time, obviously. But I'm very excited that we're going to be getting that on the director's cut.
Yeah, it'll be definitely something that's going to get a lot of views from me.
My only regret is I kind of wish that they would also release that in theaters. I kind of wish that you had an option, that they released the PG-13 and the rated R version, so you could go see either or. Because, like you said, we're going to go see it on Tuesday. I would pay money again in 2 weeks to go see the rated R version.
Yeah, have they ever done anything? I don't think any movie's actually done that, though.
I don't think they've ever released two versions at the same time. I want to say, I don't even know if they've ever released a director's cut in theaters, honestly. I can see if this movie does really, really well and people are really clamoring for the 3 hour supercut, I think you could see after the first, 2-month release that they could release the rated R director's cut. I would go see it. Guaranteed. Something else that's probably going to have a rated R supercut is a Lobo movie. We talked a few weeks ago. Yeah, we talked a few weeks ago about the Deadpool movie and the effect that it was going to have on the movie industry, and what's something that we could see getting greenlit because of it was Lobo. Well, I guess we were right, because Lobo has officially been greenlit by DC. The scriptwriter of Wonder Woman is going to be writing this one.
Yeah, and Lobo is essentially like
he's a cross between Wolverine and Deadpool.
Kind of thing.
Or DC. But when the movie gets closer, I'm sure we'll talk more about Lobo. But if you know who he is, you know this movie's probably going to be rated R and insanely crazy. If you don't, well, hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. Me and Ryan will talk more about Lobo.
Yes.
Moving on to non-comic book movie news. Cannonball Run, a Burt Reynolds movie that was basically based on Smokey and the Bandit, is going to get a new movie. It's getting rebooted by, I think, Warner Brothers.
Burt Reynolds.
I could be wrong, but it is definitely getting a reboot. I don't know when, but it's been greenlit, so look for it. I'm sure it'll be a Fast and Furious type reboot.
I hope it captures the weird slapstick of the first movie and trying not to be like all gritty and dark or something like that.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure it'll be a Fast and Furious type reboot, but I hope it's not. I mean, if you haven't seen Cannonball Run, it's got John Candy, Burt Reynolds. It is a goofy, fun movie about a bunch of people doing a cross country race.
Yeah, and the hilarity that happens in that. So
yeah, hopefully if they,
I would. What?
Well, I was waiting for you to talk. I was trying. You were talking.
Oh, I would hope.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they do it right. They probably won't, but fingers crossed. A movie that I don't really know if they'll do right or not, but I have faith in J.J. Abrams is. There's a long rumor that J.J. Abrams is going to be doing a Portal and Half-Life movie. Apparently, he came out and said that it's still in production. I believe it was on the Nerdist. I actually was listening to that podcast last week, and he said that those movies are still in production. Well, not in production, but still in development. That hopefully they'll be coming out soon. So if you're not familiar with Portal or Half-Life, they're video games. So
from Valve.
They're definitely out there and they're a little strange, but if he does them right, I'm sure they'll be cool. They definitely have J.J. Abrams' alley. They're very sci-fi and very different. So no date on when those are coming out, but just that they're still being pushed along. Emily Browning, but most recently known for Sucker Punch, as she played Baby Doll, the blonde main star, has been cast to play Laura Moon in the American God Stars series. So I have not read that book because I'm waiting for the series, but I'm getting really excited for it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good. I mean, the book got like high critical acclaim. So
Neil Gaiman is a great author. So I mean, I love all his comic book series. I haven't read any of his actual novels, but I'm sure they're great. So
and he's a good human being.
Well, I don't know him personally, but I'm going to take your word for it and say, yes, great man. And the last little bit of news we got for you guys is Destiny. Anybody still playing that? Like this guy, that's probably why I'm talking about it, is getting a huge update with tons of new content this April. So a lot of the community has been kind of angry. It's basically Xbox One's first attempt at an MMO type game. We have not gotten any brand new content for a while. And, well, we are going to get some in April. And anybody who bought The Taken King, which was the last expansion, is going to get the content for free. So no word on the price point for anybody who did not buy The Taken King, but we're going to be getting a whole bunch of new missions, new weapons, new drops, all kinds of new stuff. So, I don't know, good news all around. And it actually brings me to a little thing me and Ryan talked about, something, a little teaser for expansions on the Geek Dad Report network. We're actually in development right now. We're talking about bringing you guys a video game show that we'll talk about once a month, where we talk about video games. So, more about that.
Not sure if it's going to be like one specific game each episode, or like just
so the idea for the show basically is that we'll have a few things that we talk about. So like monthly MMO. So we might talk a little bit about Destiny. It's going to be right now. It's going to be a once a month show where we talk about Destiny updates. I know me and you had talked about when DC Universe Online launches, I believe next month for Xbox and Xbox One and console or PCs, that we'll talk a little bit about that. So any games that are ongoing monthly, like MMO titles, we may have a little bit of updates about any content. But yeah, basically what we're going to do is I think we're going to pick one new game that's coming out and talk about something we're excited about and just talk about state of video games in general. So it will be no nerd talk. It'll all be video game talk. So something we have in development that you guys can look forward to. If that's something that sounds exciting to you, we would love to hear your feedback on things that you'd love us to talk about. But it's something that hopefully we'll have coming here in the next month or two. But something new to add to the network. Video games. And it won't just be starring me and Ryan. I have a couple of people. I have some new maybe talent we'll be bringing into the network, and a few people that have co-hosted with us before, but it may have a revolving door of people and guests on the show,
which will be good. It'll be fun.
Good. But hopefully it's a few things. We do have some expansion in the future planned. So this is not, me and Ryan will always be part of the Geek Dad Report network, but we want to make it a network, which means we will have multiple shows on here at some point.
There'll be a lot of stuff happening.
We have a lot of cool stuff happening. You were right, Ryan. But anyway, that was just a little teaser. So if you guys have any ideas or anything you'd like us to talk about going forward, we are definitely open to some different shows and different ideas. So we are moving in that direction. There we go. So the last little bit of news, not really ninja news, but we are going to pull our world famous, at least in our minds, trailer word association segment, because we had a shit ton of trailers this week.
God, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trailers this week. 6 trailers.
So, like we said, that's the end of Ninja News. Get the fuck out of here.
Shut.
The hand ninja star to the face. And if you know someone who got ninja star to the face, a loved one, please make sure you visit Frank Castle's grief management class. Hell's Kitchen. Great sponsor.
Yes.
All right, so do you want to break these down, or do you want to do our word association game?
Maybe we could do both.
All right.
First 3.
First 3? All right, we'll break down the last couple. Well, here we go. Tell you what. We'll just go through them and see what happens.
Okay.
All right. So the first trailer, like I said, we had 5 trailers that all got released this week, so we're going to blow through them. The first trailer is the new Legends of Tarzan trailer. So.
Yeah. I watched that, and I did not know what the fuck I watched, so.
All right. Well, I guess that's that. I feel like this movie is going to be an epic disaster, but the trailer looks kind of exciting and fun. So I got my fingers crossed that it might be good. I doubt it will be, but
if the trailer was the whole movie, I would have been satisfied. But
yeah, it looks very heavily CGI, but it looks full of action, and it's got Harley Quinn in it. But it worries me because it's what, Christopher Waltz, is that his name? It's a movie with he's a great bad guy when he's being directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, it's true.
This is not directed by Quentin Tarantino. It has a lot of CGI, and There's rumors that the director sometimes did not show up for shoots, so I'm a little worried about this, but I don't know. I think it looks fun. I'm sure I'll see it. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I'll wait for the red box.
Yeah, I'll go see a screener and we'll give a Geek Dad real review. Maybe. If it's one of the ones that I can review. All right, moving on. Now You See Me, Part 2.
I haven't seen the first one, so do you have any context for it?
I do. I saw the first one. Loved the first one. It's kind of a surprising movie. I know it was kind of, about 50-50 as far as critics who liked it and loved and hated it. I thought the first one was a fun original movie about magicians. Yeah, it was a little bit of a stretch, but who cares? It was a fun movie that was something different than we've seen before. So I'm pretty excited. It looks like they've taken the magic to a different level and they've taken the story to a different level, and it very much ties into the first story. So even though it's a sequel, it looks like it could be the second half of a larger story. So it doesn't look like a tacked on sequel. It looks like something that's organic to the first one. So I'm pretty excited about it. They brought back the entire cast except for, I cannot remember her name, but it's Sacha Baron Cohen's wife, the redhead from The Wedding Crashers. I cannot remember her name. But she has been recast, but everybody else is back. So,
dude, can they do actual magic? Or
no,
is it just...
well, they're all street magicians. So, they're the best magicians. They don't do actual magic. This movie definitely looks like they've upped it to the point where it looks like they're doing real magic, but they're all illusionists and hypnotists and, So, I mean, think, Vegas magicians. And I don't want to give away too much of the first movie. If you have not watched Now You See Me, I do recommend that you watch it. Ryan, check it out. You will enjoy it. It is a fun movie. But I'm excited for the sequel. I think it looks good. The trailer... It looked like it did its job. It made me want to see the next one.
I want to watch the first one. So
yeah, if you have not seen the first one, I recommend watching the first one. It is a fun movie, and then you guys can let us know what you think about the second one. But I'm excited to see it as a person who's seen the first one. I think the second one's going to be a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. Central Intelligence, the new Kevin Hart rock movie.
I have to say from the very beginning with The Rock with his fake CGI
the fat rock
face, onto the fat kid. That was pretty funny. And then I don't know if the movie looks funny, and I wasn't really expecting that, but it looked good to me. And I like The Rock in a lot of the roles that he plays. And Kevin Hart, I don't know him as well, but I mean he's always been a pretty funny guy. So it looks good. I'm kind of looking forward to it after seeing that trailer this week.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'll pretty much watch anything The Rock's in at this point. I mean, some of his movies aren't great, but they're always entertaining at least. So this one looks like a lot of fun. From the opening, if you haven't watched the trailer, it's worth watching just for the first 20 seconds of the trailer, where you have Rock digitally as a 17-year-old fat kid. It's hilarious. Singing in a shower.
Singing in a shower. But what kid takes a shower in high school?
Well, here's the thing I like about this movie too, is they don't just turn The Rock into like a, I mean, he becomes a badass, but he's also still kind of a dork. He's got a fanny pack. He's a CIA badass who also has a fanny pack and is kind of a dork.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a lot of fun. And Kevin Hart, I like Kevin Hart as a comedian. I think he's great. Some of his movie roles, I think he gets a little whiny. But this one, it actually looks like he's, like when he tries to do the flip and then lands on his face.
Yeah, that was pretty...
I showed the trailer to my wife and she was dying. I mean, she told me that if I get a screener, I have to take her. So, I mean, it looks pretty funny. I'm pretty excited for Central Intelligence. I think it's going to be a good movie. Next movie. I'm not even sure what to say about this movie, but Seth Rogen's Sausage Party.
Yeah, I think they smoked a lot of pot.
Oh.
And they came up like, dude, so what if food was alive and they didn't know they were going to get eaten? And then they found out they were going to get eaten.
So I had heard about this movie a while ago, and I knew it was going to be an animated movie, but I thought it was going to be like a kid's movie, and I'm like, that's kind of a weird animated kids movie. And then Seth Rogen on his own Facebook and Twitter account dropped the first trailer. Didn't say that it was like, hey, this is a red band trailer or anything. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I watched it. First thing you notice is the animation's really bad.
Yeah.
It is not
Especially on the
Pixar
bun.
or Disney.
The hot dog bun looks like a vagina.
It looks
essentially.
like a vagina with a little lipstick on her lips. Yeah. So I'm watching this like, what the hell? Then all of a sudden they start swearing. Well, first of all, they don't start swearing yet. It starts off with all this food gets bought by this lady, and she takes it home, and they're all like, yes! So all the food at the grocery store, all they want is to be bought by somebody. That's their dream. And so they get bought by somebody, and then they have this potato who's like, yes! Finally, I've reached, and she's taking over to washing him, and he's like all excited, and then she takes a potato skinner and starts peeling him, and he's like, oh my god, my skin, and everyone's like, what are you doing to him? And then it turns into this like rated R horror movie, and then they all decide that they have to escape or they're all going to be murdered and eaten.
Yeah, and like she eats the baby carrots and like, and they're eating children. And stuff
and there's
like
just
that.
lots of bad language, and the movie looks
like I said, it's just like Seth Rogen and those guys smoked way too much weed one time, and they decided, and this is the movie that came out.
And they looked at the fridge and said, "Oh, I got an idea." Yeah, I don't even know how to explain this. I can't say whether I think it's going to be good or not because I have no idea. It's going to be fucking weird, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Check out the trailer and you let us know what you think. Ben-Hur.
That good old chariot racing movie.
My first thought of Ben-Hur after watching the trailer
it's a
was,
chariot
wow,
racing movie.
They made a Fast and Furious Chariots of Fire movie.
Yeah.
All joking aside, I actually was. I thought the idea, like some of the special effects scenes, were pretty cool. They showed a part with Ben-Hur because he's a slave in a ship where it crashes and he goes thrown up and then underwater. It looked pretty exciting. I don't know if the movie's going to be any good, but the special effects look good and it looked like it's going to be fairly.
It looks interesting, at least. I mean, I kind of like those kind of movies, so.
Yeah, it actually got my attention. And when I first heard about it, I thought this movie was going to be terrible. But it looks like a movie that I might actually want to check out. I don't know if I'm going to race to theaters to see it, but it definitely had piqued my interest. So, and then lastly, today we got a brand new X-Men Age of Apocalypse trailer.
Yeah, and literally Brian and I responded at the exact same time with the exact same response.
What was it, Ryan?
Meh.
You know, I put on Twitter that I got a lot of likes on it. Was that, I almost feel bad for X-Men. No one ever remembers the third runner. I said after Civil War and Batman v Superman, no one ever remembers the third runner-up in a beauty pageant.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's, I don't want to bash X-Men. I mean, they're doing their thing, but it just. After what we've seen from Batman, Superman, Civil War, and Deadpool, this movie to me is just forgettable, honestly. It doesn't look even remotely interesting.
Yeah, and they're trying to they changed the tone of the trailers.
Yeah,
you can tell.
Did you notice that?
And they're trying to make it like more epic on scale and all that stuff, but you still can't get past like what it boils down to.
Yeah, Apocalypse looks terrible.
It boils down to a whole bunch of meh.
It's just Mystique. Why is Mystique still in this? I don't even understand. I get it. Jennifer Lawrence is a big star. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope it's really good. I'm a huge fan of the X-Men property, and I really, really want this to be great. It looks like it's going to be like all the other ones, which is like, it's all right, but it doesn't. Compared to what's out there now, it's just not going to hold up, I think. But,
compared to what it could be.
Yeah. After watching Deadpool, especially, you seeing what X-Men could do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Colossus is infinitely better than just the Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead are already better than most of the X-Men in the X-Men movies. So, I don't know. I hope it's good, but I do not hold faith that it is going to be any good.
No, keep texting. Oh, it's fine. I'll wait.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Go ahead. All right.
Get the hashtag.
Yeah, I just, whatever. Like I said, I hope it's good. I love X-Men. Apocalypse looks terrible. He looks bad. I'm tired of seeing Magneto. I'm tired of seeing Mystique. Whatever. Anyway,
Psylocke doesn't look too bad.
Psylocke looks
I
cool.
mean,
Angel looks all right. Storm is a bad guy. Still not quite getting. I don't mind
yeah.
I don't mind the Cyclops and Jean Grey's younger characters. I don't like Havoc. Whatever. I don't care.
We'll
Honestly,
see.
meh. Whatever.
Ah,
If you were really excited for X-Men, please let us know. Also, if you have not watched any of these trailers, they are all up on our Facebook page, and I believe most of them are I retweeted on our Twitter account. So check them all out. Let us know what you think about them. X-Men obviously is the really big one. If you guys are really excited, we would love to hear from somebody who's really excited about it and why they're really excited, and maybe tell us why we're missing out because we are not excited about it.
yeah, we don't know.
Hey, we're still gonna see it, and there's a reason why we call our movie reviews real reviews because we'll tell you our opinion. If we see it and we think it's fantastic and we were wrong, we'll say, hey, we were wrong. This movie's great, and I really hope that that's what I say. I hope after we watch X-Men, we go, wow, finally, they nailed it. This movie is amazing. That's what I want, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Just from what we've seen at this point, though, we're not.
Nope, we are not convinced. So anyway, but there you go. That's all the news we got.
Woo!
Barely took up like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was a record.
It's super fast. All right, moving on. Hang on a second. What do we got here? Let me pull
Should
it
we do
up.
some comics you crave?
Yeah, so on Comics You Crave this week, Ryan, why don't you tell everybody what we read?
Well, this week we decided to go with a one shot from Image Comics. Their Top Cow, kind of like their subsection. They have a one-shot comic that's called The 13th Artifact. And it comes from Amit Chow Chuhan, Eli Powell, and Andrew Elder. And these are essentially, they won a contest a year ago that Top Cow put out.
Yeah, it was called it was the 2015 Talent Hunt winners.
Yes, and so they were the winners. Emmett Chuhan and Eli Powell, and essentially it's kind of the old sci-fi story of astronaut lands on a planet, and trying to survive essentially.
It's a very sci-fi story, but what I really enjoyed about it was it was a multi-genre story. But
Yeah.
like Ryan said, it starts out with basically two astronauts land on a planet.
Well,
spoiler, one of them dies immediately, so I wouldn't really say it's much of a
Yeah.
spoiler. Happens on the first page, but the story progresses, and it tells the story of the sole survivor who explores the world that she finds, and it's not quite what she'd hoped for, and it turns very dark, and honestly, it turns in kind of a horror sci-fi story.
I liked it when it turned that direction, honestly.
Yeah, I don't really want to give too much away because it was really fun just reading it. I did not know what to expect from this. Like Ryan said, we knew going into it that this was a contest winner. So basically, this team of Armit, you know what? We're gonna butcher the names, but this duo of writers and artists who put together this comic. They entered a contest, put their work out there, and said, yeah, we like you, we're going to give you your own comic book, and this is what they came up with, and it's really good. It was really good. I was really excited to read this.
I hope that Image makes more out of it. I hope that this one shot gives them a platform to try and maybe expand the. I mean, it might be hard with how they left it.
Well, it's a testament to the writer and the artist that they created a whole world. So like we said, this is a one-shot. It's only, I think it's 27 pages long. In 27 pages, they created an entire universe, told a story, a comprehensive story from start to finish that was intriguing, well-written, and kept us flipping through to the last page. And like Ryan said, at the end of it, they established a whole universe that we want to know more about.
Yeah. And I mean, even it's like how we read that last one shot that we did, where you read the end and you're like, okay, so this obviously was not a one shot because they left it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I mean, like they kind of do leave it on the 13th outer fact on a slight cliffhanger, but the story's done from that point. You know it's done, but you're like, oh, I want to know, what happened, how to get to that point, or did they send in more people, after that, and
Yeah,
and
well, I mean, and you're absolutely right. I was a little nervous reading this one. Reading this one after we read the last one, because a lot of one shots that we've read have not told the complete story, and in fact, in reading a one shot, you know that it's a single shot. You're not getting more. So if it's not completed, you're left disappointed. But Arnett and Eli, I mean, hopefully we're pronouncing your names right. Sorry guys if we're not, but
yeah.
you guys told an amazing story. It was the first one shot that I've read that I want a sequel, but I don't need one. It was a great complete story, and nowadays we don't seem to get a lot of those. Everything's set up for a sequel or a trilogy or whatever, and it was a good story. It was intense. It was scary. It was
Engaging.
It was very, very engaging, and a lot
Yeah.
of the story was told from a first person perspective, and I don't like a lot of narrative. I like actually talking and people telling the story instead of the story happening in their mind, and this was amazing.
Yeah. What did you think of the artwork? I like the cityscapes when they first started to show the first
show a little bit
cityscape
of the
that they
artwork
showed,
See if I can find one
like
that
with
doesn't
the big
spoil
huge
anything.
tower in the middle.
So there's a
Mm-hmm.
sample of the artwork. They go with it's a mix of kind of almost like the abstract, but with clean lines. It's a great comic. I love the coloring. It works perfectly for this story.
Yeah, and I think in the end it got a lot darker,
Oh yeah,
and so the artwork got super dark, and it was awesome.
yeah. They used a great. I think it's Eli, right? Is the artist used a great color scheme to tell a story. So, like you said, it starts out optimistic and the colors are brighter. And as the story gets darker and more violent, the colors get darker and more violent.
Yeah, and,
It was
the scenes in the background, yeah. See, like in the scenes in the background got a lot darker too. So it was I was thoroughly surprised, and I'm glad that I read it, and it makes me want to buy a physical copy, even though we had the digital one, just because it's something that I think that would translate good on the paper as well as digital.
Oh yeah,
and,
I think it would look beautiful on
keep
paper.
around.
Honestly,
So
I would love to see it. I'm with you, Ryan. I actually want a physical copy of this. I actually think it would look beautiful on paper. I think one of the things I really enjoyed about this comic book is that me and you read a lot of comics for this and just in our own personal lives, and very rarely are we surprised at something. This comic surprised me. It started as one thing.
It's cool because we just kind of picked it like kind of on a whim. Mostly, it was like, well, let's just give that one a shot. It's a one shot, and we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard about the award. I heard about the Hope Award winner, and I thought, no, that's kind of cool. Top Cow and Image gave somebody who wasn't a professional a chance to become a professional, and I just wanted to see what they had to offer, and I'm really glad we chose it. I mean, the comic book took us on a journey. It started out as something new and optimistic. It turned to something more intense, and then you had this overwhelming sense of dread as you were going towards the end. It took you on 27 pages. It did what a lot of comics don't do. It takes you on a complete journey, and it took you all the way through the emotional spectrum. And by the end, you're just like, man, that was good. I really enjoyed this comic book a lot.
Yeah, and I really hope they get a chance to make something else from this series. So
yeah, so I guess I speak for Ryan. We'll keep it short. We love this comic. We think everyone should read this comic, and this is a must-own for everybody. $3.99 from Image. It is well worth the money you're going to spend on this.
it's $3.99.
$3.99. Me and Ryan say buy it. It's a one shot, so just Don't subscribe to it, obviously.
You don't have to worry about long-term commitments or if you're going to miss an issue or anything like that. Just get the one shot. It's well worth it.
Yeah, buy it, add it to your collection. Something else that's kind of cool that's worth mentioning is that, at least on the digital copy, I hope they do this on the physical copy. The last 3 pages of it, they actually showed the script at which Arnett and Eli kind of worked together to create the comic book. So it gives you a pretty cool little look inside the comic and the creative process of how they, their original script to what it ends up being. So I, as a person who reads a lot of comics and likes to see how the process is done, I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, and if you ever want to be a comic book artist, this does kind of give you an idea of what the process is like.
Yeah, and how to script it.
And maybe it might inspire you to, try and, do something with your friend. So.
But, I definitely hope to see more from Amit and Eli in the future. So, 13th Artifact, $3.99 from Image. Me and Ryan say buy it now.
Yep,
Do not wait. Go get it immediately. You will not be disappointed. Nice work, guys.
Yep.
We expect great things from you. We can't wait to see more of your work.
Yeah, get some more stuff going now.
Yes, definitely. I'm very anxious to read more of what you guys have to offer. So, there you go. Buy it. 13th Artifact from Image Comics.
It's out now.
2 thumbs up. Way up. So up, you can't even see him on the screen anymore. All right, moving on. Faithful 50. We did not have a lot of questions tonight, so we can blow through them, I guess, pretty quick.
Yes. That's partially our fault.
Yeah, we posted it late. We always say we're posting it late.
Because we're busy.
We are busy.
We went to Hell's Kitchen this week, guys.
We did.
I mean, we spent a lot of time in Hell's Kitchen, just trying not to die.
Frank Castle's grief counseling took a long time. He had to show you how to work miniguns, shoot dummies. It was all kinds of weird training.
Yeah.
All right, so first up, Chris from Washington. He wants to know, do we think Shadows of the Empire would be an amazing live-action Star Wars movie from Disney? I'm going to say, did you ever read Shadows of the Empire?
No, I did not.
Okay, I did. I would say yes, it would make an amazing movie, but it's never getting made because it does not quite fit in with the continuum that Star Wars is rolling with right now.
Is that part of the old ones? Or?
Yeah, it was one of the original, like, it was. So I think it came out in '96. I think it was '96. It was one of the big. It took place between episode 5 and 6. Basically, told how Luke Skywalker created his new lightsaber, the green lightsaber. I believe it introduced Mara Jade, who eventually became Luke Skywalker's wife in the comic books. It introduced a lot of new characters, and it was a great, really. It really filled in the gaps between Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. It was a fun. It was a fun book. It was one of their better books that tied in with the Star Wars universe. Later, the Star Wars universe kind of went off in weird directions, but it was one that very, very much fit in with George Lucas's view of Star Wars. So, yeah, I think it would be great. It introduced a new character, Dash Rendar, who's kind of a Han Solo type character, but unfortunately, it does not fit in with the current, what Disney's moving forward with. So, it's never going to happen, Chris. I think it'd be awesome. I keep hearing that Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to be part of the Star Wars universe going forward, so it does seem like Disney is kind of plucking certain things out of the expanded universe that they got rid of. But so you may see things going forward that are kind of from some of those books, but we are not going to see a remake of Shadows of the Empire anytime soon.
Sorry to break your dreams.
Yep, sorry to crush you, man. If you don't like it, write Disney. Brian from Washington wants to know, if we could have any inhuman power, what would it be? And will we use our powers for good or evil? Evil, duh. I'd rob banks and be rich.
Going off of my knowledge of the Inhumans from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, Inhumans are a lot like mutants. You can be any power you want to.
Yeah.
The kind of the trade-off for Inhumans is the powers always kind of seem to come with a burden. So where X-Men, you can just have a power. Inhumans, like Black Bolt, the leader of the Inhumans, his voice can destroy mountains, but he can never speak. Daisy, she has the power to vibrate things, but she has to keep her powers in check because she can cause earthquakes in her bedroom if she does, if she steps out of line or she gets too angry.
Lincoln just electrocutes people.
Yeah, but his rage controls his electricity, so anytime he gets mad, he electrocutes things.
Yeah. What about the guy that melts stuff? That melts metal or whatever.
I don't know about him too much. Well, if we're gonna go off what I've seen on Inhumans, I would just like the power to, or what we've seen on Agents of Shield, probably.
The girl that could run as fast as a heartbeat.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then like go back to where she was standing.
I'm gonna take the. I like the power of telekinesis that the one guy has. The bad guy.
Oh, the new bad guy?
Yeah, the new bad guy. It'd be cool to just move things with your mind.
Yeah.
How great would it be to, like, if you're sitting and you're like, you're sitting on your couch and your remote's on the other couch, and you could just be like, "Come here, remote."
Yes, that's exactly what I would do.
Or that you need a beer, you don't even have to get off the couch. You can just make a drink. That's what I would do.
So
I would definitely. I'd like to say that I use my powers for good, but eventually it would turn evil.
Yeah, I think that would happen to all of us.
Yeah, I mean,
we're like, hey, look, there's Bill Gates. Joink.
Yeah, I mean, if I could have telekinesis and you could just, you're sitting at a restaurant, you really want that. You're sitting at Wendy's and you really want that Frosty. Well, why get up and pay for it when you just like float it to you?
Mm-hmm. True.
Just saying. Not saying. Just saying.
There you go, Brian.
I am evil. All right, let's see here. Next up, we got a trio of questions from Kyle from Virginia. Kyle has not been on the show in a while, but he's back. Way to go, Kyle. Thank you for coming back. Kyle wants to know three things. He wants to know, first of all, green beer or Jameson on the rocks or Irish car bombs. What is our drink for St. Patrick's Day?
Jameson on the rocks.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jameson on the rocks, too. If I got to choose the three of them, I do like a good Irish car bomb.
Yeah, that would be my number two.
But that's not really a drink as much as like you're out at a bar and you're like, it's St. Patty's Day. Give me some car bombs.
Let's get wasted.
Green beer is just like Bud Light with some green food coloring. So I'll take Jameson on the rocks. Jameson's good whiskey.
Yep.
Secondly, Kyle wants to know what will be the first Easter egg in the new Daredevil season. I'm gonna say
Frank Castle's grief counseling class.
Grief counseling. I'm gonna say the Frank Castle grief counseling, and Luke Cage and Iron Fist,
and Jessica Jones.
Hopefully, they have a picture of Ben Affleck on a wall somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Awesome. And third, Kyle would like to know how many seasons until John Wesley Shipp reprises his role as Flash on the new Flash universe. Technically, he already has. 2 episodes ago, Flash ran through the multiverse and saw his father as Flash, the 1980s or 90s Flash in costume. So.
Oh, I didn't see that. I was trying to pay attention when he was running.
Yeah, well, it showed Supergirl, but it also showed John Wesley Shipp as Flash. So I think it's 91 or 90 version of Flash. So I'm going to say that that's already happened, but I do think there's going to be an episode probably next season where he is in the Flash costume.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to run back in time. All I know is I want more Trickster. Mark Hamill's Trickster.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the Flash Supergirl race episode.
Yeah, that comes out. Little show correction. I think last week I said it came out March 26th. It is actually March 28th that will air. So be on the lookout. We will definitely be watching it. And finally, we have a very long question from Chris, who may or may not also be the host of the Utah Outcast, sister station on the Pod Hill Network. He has a bunch of stuff here, so we'll kind of cover it. I promised him his own segment, but we ran long tonight, so you're not getting your own segment, Chris. But we will answer your question. He wants to know his question. Here's his question. He wants to know, let's see. At the risk of sounding too much like an old cankerous man, he wants to know if we feel that the current generation is consuming the geek culture right now is a little bit spoiled.
Yes.
Yes. The short answer is yes, they were massively spoiled. I mean, he went into talk about how he watched Batman, the 1989 version, until his VHS tape exploded, and he had to actually go to places to find cool Japanimation movies. But yeah, no, Chris, you know what? People are spoiled now. I mean, the fact that people complain and bitch about things like Batman v Superman. You know, if Batman v Superman came out 10 years ago, it would be the greatest thing anybody had ever seen in their entire lives. So we've talked about it at length on this show. I mean, we had a rant a few weeks ago about people hating on Batman v Superman. It is a great time to be a comic book nerd right now, or geek, or even just a fan, because pop culture right now is comic book culture. Yeah. And everything is on demand. Everything is available on Blu-ray. There is no such thing as a really bad comic book movie anymore. I heard Fantastic Four is awful, but even I've talked to some people who said, listen, it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
And the thing is that nowadays you have the internet, and everything is available essentially at your fingertips. So it's definitely going to spoil people, just because. Remember when you wouldn't even see a new movie trailer till you were at a movie theater to see a different movie?
Yeah.
And that would be the first time you saw a trailer for something?
Well, yeah.
You know,
well, yeah, and besides that, I mean, let's just look at television alone. I mean, when we were younger, you might get like we had Batman's the 60s version of Batman on syndication. Now, I mean, look at the comic book shows we have now. Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Daredevil, Jessica Jones. I mean, it goes on and on and on. There isn't a network that doesn't have at least one comic book series. You know, Supergirl. I mean, people are spoiled to amazing shows. Any one of the things that are out now would be the best thing ever 10 years ago. So it's even Gotham, which we kind of make fun of occasionally, would be the best show ever 10 years ago. It would be amazing. Yeah. So yeah, people are spoiled, but I mean, what do you do? I mean, I can't criticize younger fans who don't know any better, but you know, if everybody wants to know what it was like being me and Ryan growing up, just sit back, have a whole weekend where you watch nothing but 90s comic book movies, and you will realize that Blade was amazing.
Yeah, and Blade was like that kind of helped set the standard, really, for what we have now.
Yeah. And X-Men, as bad as the original X-Men was, and it doesn't hold up at all, was amazing for its time.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Spider-Man, the first one, Tobey Maguire. Does not hold up anymore, but at the time, amazing. So, you know, I guess the short story is be thankful for what we have now. If you're a 15, 16, 20-year-old and you're kind of bored of comic book movies, don't be, because one day, and they're not going to go away, but right now is the peak.
Yeah.
You're buying high right now if you're buying.
Disney Marvel has said that they're going to be doing Star Wars and comic book movies or Marvel movies until the end of time.
Yeah, well, and you know, hopefully the DC universe will get going and it'll be awesome because it'll give us one more thing to be excited about. So, Chris kind of had a follow-up where he wanted us to give a public service announcement about everybody stop hating on new properties and just be grateful, but you know, we've covered a lot of that. We had a rant a few weeks ago about Batman v Superman, a lot of people hating on that. But to Chris's point, everybody, kind of to piggyback what we just talked about, you know what? If you're a geek and you're a fan of comic book properties, don't prejudge something going into it because it's not something that you're used to. Don't hate on Batman, Superman because you think Marvel's the greatest thing ever. You know, and even me and Ryan, you know, we don't think X-Men's going to be great, but we don't sit here and say, don't go see it, it's going to be crap. We hope it's going to be good. But it may not be. But if you enjoy comic book movies, you love the Avengers, if you're excited for Batman v Superman, just embrace them all and go see them before you judge them, you know? I mean, as bad as Fantastic Four supposedly was, that movie was never going to be good because going into it, people just decided it was going to be bad before they even saw it. And, you know, it completely tanked. Now, from what I've heard, it deserved to tank, but, you know, let's be grateful for what we have and not judge things going into them before we even see them.
Yeah. Very true.
So, and that is all the questions we have tonight for the Faithful 50. So, thank you everybody who submitted a question. Once again, me and Ryan will try and get it up earlier, but we are very busy, so we apologize it doesn't get up get it earlier. But feel free to hit us up on Facebook. Send us a direct message if you have a question before we have the post. Just say, hey, listen, when you guys post it, this is what I'd like to ask, and we will definitely answer your question on the show. So, like I said, Thank you, everybody. So let's see. Well, Ryan, would you like to? Do we want to do a quick real review, or do you just want to skip it and go to our recommendations?
Let's just go to recommendations.
All right, cool. Well, then I will give our. I was gonna do a real review for 10 Cloverfield Lane, but since Ryan hadn't seen it anyway, I'll do that as my recommendation. So, I'll let you go first, or I can go first. I don't really care.
My recommendation is don't move ever because packing up your house and trying to get the kids to not be sad about moving is not fun, and especially packing up the house. So that is what I have been doing for the last 2 weeks, and it sucks. And my kids are kind of starting to get like more excited about the move now, but yeah, just don't move. Just always just stay where you are.
Well, that's not entirely true. Sometimes you gotta move. I moved a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and a side little note, we've talked about it quite a bit on the show. Ryan is going to be moving, like he just said.
Yeah.
At some
I don't
point.
know where. I can't say where yet. I'm waiting for stuff to be finalized. So
we're not completely sure, but rest assured the show will go on, and me and Ryan nothing will ever break up our partnership and the show.
We will stay together.
We'll be together forever, man. I can't quit you. So, but that being said, there may be an interruption from time to time. So, we will try and let you guys know whenever we're not going to do a show for a week or two. But keep in mind, because of his move, we may suddenly have a week or two where we do not have an episode. But we will try and let everybody know on Facebook or at least Twitter when it does happen. But just an FYI going forward, everybody.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for your recommendation. Nobody move. My recommendation this week is that everybody should go see 10 Cloverfield Lane. Like I said, we were gonna do a Geek Dad real review on it, but since Ryan hadn't seen it and it's already been out for a week, it did seem, and we were running long on time, it seemed kind of pointless. But I will basically give a thumbs up. Go see 10 Cloverfield Lane. There are some people who are kind of trashing the ending of that movie. I cannot really review this movie because reviewing it at all gives away the entire movie. All I can say, it's about 9 different genres rolled up in one. It's not a horror movie, if that's what you think. If you saw the first Cloverfield Lane and you think it's a handy cam, shaky cam movie, it's not that either. It is a suspense thriller that turns into something altogether, and it's amazing. The actors and actresses are amazing. There's 3 main leads in it. They do a fantastic job. It is entertaining from start to finish, and you will be on the edge of your seat wanting to know exactly what happens throughout. So, personally, the ending, the last 15 minutes of the movie, some people complain that it felt a little tacked on. It definitely feels a little tacked on, but not in a bad way. The movie gets a complete movie and then gives you a different movie at the very end. So,
does it tie in with the first one?
It does, kind of. It leaves it to your imagination. It is not a direct tie-in. If you're waiting for Cloverfield to pop up, it's not that. But that being said, it's not disappointing. It's not a movie where you feel like you need Cloverfield to be part of it to make sense. It's a great movie. It is a fun movie. It is an entertaining movie. If you go see this, you will not be disappointed at all. Just don't go into it thinking it's a straight horror movie like some of the trailers show, because it's not. It's more of a suspense thriller that turns into a few different genres. But it is a great movie. You will not be disappointed. It's a great date movie. Me and my wife went and saw it, and she loved it. I loved it. It's a fun movie.
And you don't have to see Cloverfield in order to understand it.
You don't have to see in Cloverfield. If you have not watched that first movie, you do not need to watch it. In fact, after this one, you don't even feel a need to go watch it afterwards. Cloverfield is a great movie. I enjoyed it. Some people did not. But it stands on its own, just like 10 Cloverfield Lane is its own movie. So it's cool if you've seen both of them, but you don't need to see it at all. I highly recommend going to see this. It is a fun movie. Most people have reviewed it as a great movie. There's a few people out there who have said don't. It's kind of disappointing. It is not at all. It is a great movie. If you may be a little confused, head scratching, because it definitely jumps genres a few times in this, but it doesn't take away from the overall fun. So overall, if I were going to give it a rating, I'd give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. It is a fun movie that I think you should see in theaters. It is.
Sounds good.
It's worth watching just for the actors alone. It is very well done. So, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Geek Dad
Woo!
approved. Go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about all we got.
Yeah.
Ryan, before we sign out, would you like to tell everybody where they can find us?
Yes. Well, we have a lot of sources. You know, Twitter at Geek Dad Report, Facebook at Geek Dad Report. You can see us on Watch, Play, Read. We have our own YouTube channel for the Geek Dad Report. We are on iTunes. Brian's on Twitter at
Brian West 53.
Brian West 53, yes. And then I am Big Bruiser on Twitter. And we're on Pod Hell, as Brian mentioned earlier, which are a lot of our sister shows that we have now on there. And growing. And that's going to be that's a fun little network of shows that's on Pod Hell. And yeah, go find us on those places. Like us, subscribe, rub things, and comment, leave reviews. Preferably share the living shit out of them. And I think that's about it for the please like us segment.
Yeah, we got a few new likes on Facebook. We got a bunch of new Twitter followers, and we got a couple new subscribers on YouTube. So thank you, all of you. I would mention you by name, but most of you have set your shit to private, so I don't even know who you are. But thank you. We do appreciate your patronage, your likeage, and your shareage. We appreciate all of it. So yeah, so that's about it. One small show note. Episode 50, a big milestone for us, is coming up next week. And me and Ryan are seriously considering finally doing the much talked about, much requested drunk episode. So maybe if we can line up a couple of guest stars, we may have a few people guest host with us. And if we do it, it's probably going to be Friday night, so we won't have a new show for you guys Friday morning, but it'll be more over the weekend and Monday morning. But it may happen. So if you don't see a brand new episode next Friday, we'll try and let everybody know on Facebook what we're doing. But we are seriously contemplating doing the drunk episode to celebrate episode 50 and just to thank everyone. It'll be completely off the rails. Pretty much don't
expect any kind of cohesion.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. It's probably
episode 50, the thank you episode is what it'll be. So
yes.
That's probably going to happen. So if you think that sounds amazing, give us lots of support and we'll definitely make sure it happens. But until then, thank you guys. We appreciate you guys coming back each and every week, and
we'll catch you next time.
We'll catch you on the flip side, yo. In the meantime, look out for the Geek Dad Real Report, or Real Review of Batman v Superman. We'll be up on Wednesday.
Yes, next Wednesday.
And Daredevil starts right now. It's airing. It's on. First episode is on. Watch it. We're going to be watching it, and we'll bring you full coverage of that too. So
yes.
All right, guys. Until next week. Adios, muchachos.
Catch you guys later.
I remember coming up, not even a buck, ain't even a cent to make enough. We was out there chasing after stuff that you only find in your dreams of the night.